Hey y'all, today we have a Battle II 4000 that we're going to break down and put back together. It has not been cleaned yet, so we'll do that after we break it apart. Removing this spool by undoing this drag knob. Let's go ahead and break this part down right now. To remove the drags, you simply pry up this retaining ring here. Just keep your finger over it so it doesn't fly away, and you can pull the drag stack out. We'll go ahead and remove the the clicker on this by undoing this screw right here. That simply falls out. Like so. And those are the components of it. Alright, let's undo the handle so we can get inside and remove the spool shaft and the rest of the parts. Just undoing these 3 screws here. I'm also going to remove the bump guard, which is that screw right there. All the screws are the same size, but you'll notice there's a plastic washer on each of these. Let's go ahead and pop this off. And just set that to the side. I'm going to pull this bearing off right now. And to remove this shaft, simply undo that screw right there. Then you just pull the shaft straight up. I'm going to break the shaft down. There's a bearing on top here, but there's also a retaining clip that you need to first take off to remove the bearing. Just kind of pry it up. Above the ring, and then just rotate it. Now you can just pull it off to get past that other bridge there. And now you can pull the bearing off. Alright, let's go ahead and pull out the main gear and crosswind block and the gear. On the back of this main gear, there might be some shims on here. If not, let's check this bearing. There's 2 shims, 3 shims, 4 shims on that. The shim number may vary. There's nothing else on here on the crosswind block. Sorry, the crosswind gear. Let's go ahead and remove this brace. This supports the crosswind block. washer under here as well. Like so. Now we can remove the rotor. And let us pull straight up. And it's pretty messy inside. Set it to the side. I'm going to break this down first and then we'll go to the rotor. I'm going to undo these 3 screws here to remove the bearing cover. Let's get that shim off. And now we can just pull it straight up. Alright, so first there's a bearing inside of a casing. We should have one more shim. Yep, there it is. That's the orientation of it. Alright, let's undo this side cover and get the other bearing out. Notice the size on the bearing is different than on the left side. Move the shim out of the way. Is there one or two here? Just one. Pop this out and then we'll break the line roller down, or the bale assembly down. You have the arm here, and that's the setup there. Let's undo this line roller, and then we'll be done with breaking this down. Sometimes it's tricky to get out. There's a little washer under here. One on the other side. And then just a bushing inside there. Now we can pop this out. And get this line roller washer out of there. And that's it. That's how you break down a Penn Battle II 4000. I'm going to get this all cleaned up and then I will come back and show you how to put it together. Alright, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get the this reel put back together now. I'm going to do the rotor and the bale first. Add some grease in here. And let's do the line roller first. I'm add some grease where that, or behind where that that washer is going to sit. I'm gonna add a little grease to this post here, and then I'll stick the bushing on there. And this line roller has one thicker side. The thicker side will be facing in towards the bail. And now we can put this other piece on like that. Let's get the bail arm, and then we're going to add some grease to inside here. And then just stick that plate in there. Now I'm going to add some grease also in here, and then stick that screw through here as well. Then we're just going to balance this on and then screw it in. We're not going to screw it in all the way, we're just going to just get it attached. Just kind of leave it hanging there for a little bit. And now we can go to the spring side. Add some grease to this. Just drop that in like that. And the way I like to do it is I put the cover on first. So I can get that in there. I'm not screwing it down the entire way. Just getting it in there. And now we can take our spring and this piece that I keep forgetting the name for. I'll call it an arm. I'm add a light amount of grease to this spring. Then just stick that in like that. And go ahead and get that set at an angle. It'll find the groove automatically. And just push in. You missed the groove. Just do it this way so you can kind of see it. And then just drop it in like that. Now obviously they're going to be together. You're going to want to get some grease on there. Find that hole right there. Just stick this over there like that. And just look for the hole and just kind of try to separate the two. That's not it. We had it. Okay, there we go. And then just screw it in. And you can certainly screw it all the way down. And we're also going to screw this cover on. Just don't screw it too tight. And now we can add some grease, some oil to in here. I'm gonna add a little bit to here as well. And then just connect it. Now let's go ahead and tighten this bail arm down. I'm sorry, the line roller down. Then just make sure it rolls. And it does. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump to the spool. Add some grease, some drag grease to these washers here, these drag washers. It's only a light coat. And now we can just drop them in. First goes the first fiber washer, then the keyed metal washer, and then the second. Now to lock that in place, we can just find the groove for this retaining ring and get that set. Let's get that out of there. And just make sure it's in the groove. Alright, so now we can jump to the clicker. Add some grease right there, and then let's see how we're going to do this for you guys. Let me add some oil to this first. And I'm going to put the spring on. And this might take a little while. Or might not. Let's take it over like that. Let's go the other way. Then just drop that in there. Then we'll just roll it around to find the hole for it. There's a hole right there, so we're just going to move it over. And then screw it in. Now let's get this spring set back on the post by pulling it over and dropping it over the post. And just make sure that the spring is sitting under or in that groove that's on that post there. Alright, so that's it for that. Let's go ahead and do the main body now. I'm gonna put this thing on first, the cover. Where did we go? For the crosswind block, because I looked at the schematic and I was trying to find where that screw exactly came from, and it's not on there, but that's okay. Only place I could see where it came from would be on top under that screw. So That's where we're going to put it. Okay, so let's go ahead and grease where the bearing is going to sit in here, around where the crosswind gear will sit, in here as well, and here where the other bearing sits, and we could even grease in here where the anti-reverse will be sitting as well. And all the way up to the top where the sleeve for the final bearing will sit. I'm going to grease inside here. Now we can grease our pinion. Grease the bottom and some inside that hole right there. And that should be good. The first thing we're going to put on is the bottom washer or shim. Next goes the bearing. And now we can put this on. Don't know where that came from. The grooves on this cylinder are equidistant or the same on both sides. So you can put it on either way. And this bearing and the reverse bearing look pretty good, so we're not going to do anything to that. Next goes this spacer here. Final bearing. And now we can certainly put this on too, even though it might fall off. So let's go ahead and drop some grease on it. And then you stick this in. Now we can cover it up. Okay, so now we can pull these out. I'm going to get this bearing inside there, and then grease up these gears here. Okay, so let's get the crosswind gear set in place. Now we can get the block sitting on top of it. This might be a little too far down. And Now we can stick in the main gear. Like so. And there's one of these shims that's thicker than the others. What order did they go in? I don't really know. I don't think it makes much of a difference. But I'm going to put the thicker ones at the bottom or the base of this, and the thinner ones on top. Now we can go ahead and get the spool put through after we put the rotor on. Let me add some grease right here. And just find a slot and then put it on. I'm adding some residual grease to these things for my fingers. Alright, so there's a beveled side and a flat side. Just make sure the flat side is going down. Put this retaining ring on, or this washer there. Get that on there like that, and then just screw it in. Now we can stick our spool shaft through. Just make sure you grease right here where the crosswind block will sit on the shaft. Notice both sides are slotted. Whenever you put it in, just try to turn it both ways. If it doesn't work one way, try it the other way. Because I don't think they're even. And before I do that, let me go ahead and put the this bearing back on there. Might be easier to work with off the reel than having it on there. Let's get this clip, kind of put it over the top like that, and just pull down gently. It'll spread it open. Then you can push down. You get to that ridge right there in the bottom, and you have to work your way over that as well. Then just push all the way down. Make sure it's in that groove that's under there, just above the bearing. So now I'm going to stick the shaft through. In it goes. And now we're going to screw that in with this. Just making sure this feels good. So now we can stick the other bearing inside this side here. Thought I heard some sand in there. Let's go ahead and grease these holes up. Even though they come with that plastic sleeve or piece on the screws, not much protection that actually adds. Let me just screw this in. Okay, so now we can put this cap on here. And there's no prongs or anything sticking out there. You just go straight on. Then you can just screw that in. Don't over tighten this because you can break the plastic. Stick our bearing cover on there. And we're pretty much almost done with this. Just go to the handle. Add some grease, some oil right here. And work that in. Then I'm gonna add some grease inside here. Some grease on the tip. And some oil where this collar sits. And just kind of work that in there. Alright, let's stick this on and test this reel out, make sure it's working properly. Add a little bit of grease to that top part right there. That feels good. That sounds good. Anti-reverse works. Baler works. That's it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button, make comments, and tell your friends about the channel. Until next time, tight lines.